the first ever Overwatch battle report. We're going to be playing Trevor's Orks versus Brendon's Necrons today. We're going to be doing one of our Overwatch open practice missions. So we'll be having Big Guns Never Tire as the primary objective, Cleanse and Control as the secondary objective, and Kill Points as the tertiary objective. It's 1850 points, and we're going to be playing a community comp game today with a 12-point cap limit. We'll go on to our armies that we're going to use next.
Alright, so these are my 1850 points worth of Necrons. So starting with the troops choices, I have 19 Necron warriors. I have 5 Immortals and a Night Scythe. The army's led by Xandrek. And I have an Overlord with a War Scythe, a Phase Shifter, and the Gauntlet of the Conflagrator. I have 5 Wraiths. I have 5 Tombblades with the Nebuloscopes and 3+ armor save. And then I have another 3 Tombblades with 3+ armor save and the +1 to Jink. Then I've also got the Destroyer Cult. So I have 3 units of Destroyers, all with a Heavy Destroyer, and then I have a unit of 2 Heavy Destroyers. And then there's the Destroyer Lord, who has the Veil of Darkness, a War Scythe, a Phase Shifter, and a Phylactery. And that is my 1850 point list.
There guys, this is my 1815 of Orks. Start up with my HQ choices. I have 4 with the double CAD today. From the right, I have a Pain Boy on a war bike, and Zad Snark the Ripper. I have a War Boss on a war bike who's got the Lucky Stick. And then I have a Big Mech in Mega Armor with a custom force field. Core choices, I have 4 units of Gretchen, just basic, so 10 Gretchen, 1 Runt Herder each. I then have 6 Knob Bikers. One of them does have a Power Claw and the Wire Banner. Then we go on to a custom Stomper who has a double Flame Belcher, a Lifter Dropper, and a D Close Combat Weapon. I'll say sorry for this. I do have 3 proxies for tractor cannons today. I'm just trying them out. I have 1 Battle Wagon with reinforced rams and a cannon, and a unit of Tank Busters with a Knob upgrade and Power Claw.
Okay, so here we are at the end of deployment. So I'll go through objective placement first. So we've got objective 1 down here, objective 2 at the back here, number 3 is on top of the ruins there, number 4 is all the way back in this corner, number 5 is on the other ruin on the other side, and then number 6 is down here. So Necron deployment. So I've got my 5 Tombblades with Ignores cover on my left hand flank. The Destroyers from the Destroyer Cult deployed on the back line there. I've got my Wraiths on the right hand side supporting the 20-man Necron Warrior Squad, and I've got Xandrek and the Destroyer Lord in that unit. And then in reserve I've got the Immortals with the Night Scythe, who are joined by the Overlord with the Gauntlet of the Conflagrator, and then I've also got 3 Tombblades with +1 Jink in reserve.
Alrighty, for my deployment I've got some Gretchen sitting there on the objective, the Battle Wagon full of the Tank Busters, some more Gretchen there at the front, Stomper with the mech guns hidden behind it. And over the back there I've got some bikes and some Gretchen right at the far end. So I don't have any reserves, but in the Battle Wagon I do have the Tank Busters, and in the Stomper I have another unit of Gretchen and a Big Mech. I will be going first. We'll see at the end of my turn 1. Okay, end of turn 1 for Orks. So the Maelstrom that I drew up for this turn was Objective 6, Objective 1 and Psychological Warfare. I achieved Objective 1 with the Gretchen and the bikes over here. Nothing else really happened. The Stomper fired some big shooters into the heavy destroyers there and took down 1 wound. And basically those Gretchen moved up to Objective 5. The Gretchen disembarked a Stomper to sit on 1. These Gretchen moved up for 3. And the Battle Wagon Tank Busters had to go at the bikes up there, but didn't do anything. And these Gretchen sat on 4.
Okay, here we are at the end of Necron turn 1. So my Maelstrom cards I drew were Domination, Kingslayer and Behind Enemy Lines. So this turn my Necron Warriors moved up and shot at some Gretchen behind the wall over here and killed 1 of them, but they've gone to ground. My unit of Wraiths that were here charged forward and got ready to charge the Knob bikers. They were joined by Zandrek and the Destroyer Lord. They lost 2 Wraiths to Overwatch and then killed 2 Knobs on the charge, but all the Wraiths were wiped out. The Destroyer Lord is down to 1 wound, giving Trevor first blood. So that one didn't go too well for the Wraiths. The Destroyer Cult shot at the Stomper, taking it away 4 hull points. And then on the other side of the table, the Tombblades, who had jinked from the last turn, shot at the Battle Wagon, taking off 1 hull point. So at the end of my turn, I managed to score Behind Enemy Lines. And that's it.
Okay, end of turn 2 for the Orks. Had a great turn. So Maelstrom, I had Overwhelming Firepower, Objective 6 and Kingslayer. So I did complete Kingslayer and Objective 6. So for my turn, these Gretchen just remained on Objective 4. The Battle Wagon come up around a tree there. And all the tank busters inside shot at the bikes, killing 1, pushing them off Objective 6, allowing me to score that card. The Stomper moved up and it flamed a unit of heavy destroyers in the middle there, killing 1, leaving the other one on 1 wound. The Gretchen just hung around Objective 3 still. Mech guns remained out of range. Gretchen in the middle stayed on Objective 1, and these Gretchen went to ground, so they couldn't do anything. The combat finished in the centre. The Knob Bikers proving to be too strong for the Wraiths and the Destroyer Lord and the Warlord in there. And they've started to head up with their sights on the Destroyers to finish this game off for the Orks.
So here we are at the end of Necron turn 2. So Maelstrom cards this turn. I had Kingslayer, Hold the Line, and Behind Enemy Lines. I managed to achieve Hold the Line, and that's it. And I'm going to discard Kingslayer at the end of my turn. So this turn, the Warriors moved forward and shot into the Knob Bikers, killing 1 and taking 2 wounds off Zardsnark. The Destroyers, so the entire Destroyer Cult shot at the Knob Bikers as well, but with their 3-up Jinx save, I managed to only take 1 wound off them. The Night Scythe came on from reserve and shot at the Battle Wagon, taking off 1 hull point. The Bikes that again jinked last turn managed to take off another hull point off the Battle Wagon, but it is still on 1 hull point.
Okay, end of Orc turn 3, had a big turn. Maelstrom wise, they had Big Game Hunter, Hungry for Glory, and Overwhelming Firepower. They scored Overwhelming Firepower, which we'll talk about in a minute, and they're going to drop Hungry for Glory. Okay, so these Gretchen here remain stationary. Next Gretchen stayed up Objective 3. Had some action over here where the tank busters disembarked their battle wagon and done a multi-charge on the bikes and destroyers, managing to take one wound off the destroyers and not receive any themselves. The Stomper charged the destroyers in the middle there. Then the tractor cannons over here. They shot the lone destroyer, which was in the middle here, which allowed me to score Overwhelming Firepower. The other Gretchen remained in the middle there on Objective 1. These Gretchen stay hidden behind there for Objective 5. The bikes split apart, the main part charging into the warriors and killing 5 warriors and taking 1 wound themselves. The war boss with the lucky stick split off and charged a unit of destroyers which are here, wiping them out, and then consolidated onto Objective 2. There's not much remaining left for the Necrons. It's looking pretty sad, but we'll see what happens during turn 3.
Necron turn 3. So over on this side of the table, the Necron warriors are in combat with the bikers and Zardsnark still. So I lost 3, but they passed their leadership of 7. So they're staying in combat. The Tombblades that were here shot and attempted to charge the war boss, failing to do any wounds at all. And then they were wiped out in combat. Over here, the Night Scythe dropped off the Immortals and the Overlord. The Overlord and the Immortals shot at a unit of Gretchen, killing all but 2 who are now running away over here. The Night Scythe itself shot at the tractor cannons, actually rolling 3 6s for how many shots it got, but only managed to do 2 wounds, which was not enough for a morale check. And then over here we've still got our ongoing combat. I lost 1 Tombblade but took down 2 of the tank busters. However, their mob rule saved them and they did not run away. And that's pretty much all that happened in my turn. I went to try and get Supremacy, but wasn't able to kill the Warlord over here, so I failed to get that one. I failed to get Kingslayer, and I still haven't got behind enemy lines. So at this stage, it's looking pretty bad for the Necrons. I don't have a lot left, but we'll go on to turn 4 and see what happens.
Alrighty, Orks, end of turn 4. So we had Old Line, Big Game Hunter, and Behind Enemy Lines. Now I did score all 3, but you can only score 2 in this mission. So I'll take Big Game Hunter and Behind Enemy Lines. Now, what happened? So the Gretchen stayed there again, securing Objective 4. The 2 Gretchen here that were running ran off the board. The tractor cannons shot the Night Scythe, double immobilised it to death. Gretchen in there held the middle. The Stomper, Stomper flamed most of the Immortals to death here. The Immortals failed their morale check then and ran back towards the Stomper, which then the Stomper charged in and chopped him up to death. These Gretchen over here just hung out, doing nothing. The bikers finished off the warriors, didn't kill them all. The warriors lost combat and the bikers swooping advanced them. The war boss over the back there just kept sitting on that objective. Okay, so this last combat here, the tank busters ended up doing 1 wound, which was enough to force 2 morale checks, and they both failed. Then the tank busters sweeping advanced both the destroyers and their bike units. So at the middle of turn 4, the Orks have been victorious. They've completely wiped the Necrons from this desert, which really is no surprise if you're an Orc player. It's an excellent game.
Okay, so we're at the end of the game now, and the final score is 33-2. So I managed to get 1 kill point and 1 maelstrom point, and Trevor managed to get a combined 18 points from maelstrom and kill points, and then he held all 5 objectives at the end, which were worth 3 points each, giving him 15 extra points. So it was 33-2, the final score. So just a bit of a summary at the end of the game from the Necron point of view. So obviously this game went really badly. Not really anything went too well. I think I've made quite a few mistakes, especially around deployment. The first big mistake I made was charging in the Wraiths. I thought they'd have enough damage or damage output with the Destroyer Lord and Xandrak attached to be able to take on the Biker Death Star. I did lose 2 Wraiths to Overwatch, which was a bit unlucky, but it didn't really make any difference to the final result. The bikes are always going to win that fight, so I'll know that for next time. The other problem was I had the Destroyer Cult, but even with a full turn of shooting, they were only able to take off 4 hull points off the Stomper. So with the Stomper and the Biker Death Star both putting pressure on, I really didn't have the firepower to take down both of them. I think next time I'll need to sort of concentrate firepower a little bit more on one or the other, and try and take it out in the first turn of the game, the first couple of turns, and then towards the later turns try and kill the other half of the army basically. The Gretchen were a big pain in the butt, staying at the back of the table holding all the objectives, as I just don't have anything else to be able to shoot them. And then the Tank Busters did okay. I was a little bit unlucky not to get the Battle Wagon. It still survived the game on 1 hull point. So had I been able to get that, I would have been able to shoot down the Tank Busters fairly quickly. But it didn't happen. So the Tank Busters are still alive and have killed a unit of Tomb Blades and a unit of Destroyers. So yeah, plenty of things to learn from this game for next time.
Okay, in summary for Orks, obviously it was a very crushing victory. Pretty happy with the way I played. The only things I would have changed was deploying the tractor cannons up a bit further, just so they had a bit more deterrence bubble. Everything else I'm pretty good with. I used the Gretchen effectively. Obviously they held objectives all game. The Stomper, he pretty much ran up the middle and just created a big scare bubble and had the Necrons scrambling from early on. The bikes do what bikes do and just destroy everything they touch, but Necrons had no ignores cover, so they couldn't deal with them. Having the extra war boss in the bike unit for the extra strength 10 just makes it absolutely amazing. And the Tank Busters got really lucky over here. It probably shouldn't have went down the way it did, but next time I might consider putting a 10 camera in there for some extra strength 8 attacks for when they can't use their melter bombs. All in all, a great game. Brendon being an awesome opponent as usual. The Battle Wagon was pretty useless. Wouldn't mind trying to get a kill cannon back on that, just because the cannon does nothing. And yeah, look out for our next videos. Hope you enjoyed it.